In this video, we're going to show you how to install the AC condenser in your Hyundai Elantra located behind the front bumper. Before we start this project, you want to go ahead and have the AC system professionally evacuated by a local shop, and they can go ahead and start the job. Using a 21mm socket, loosen and remove your lug nuts. Remove your wheel and set it aside. Repeat for the passenger side. You know, with the vehicle raised and supported, you're normally going to find a big plastic splash shield right here. Well, ours is missing from the vehicle, but you want to go ahead and start by removing that. And how you're going to do that is on the fender liner right here on the driver's side, there's going to be 3 plastic push pins. Go ahead and remove those using a trim tool and popping those buttons out. Along the lower portion of the front bumper, there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plastic push pin retainers. You want to go ahead and remove those, as well as the 3 on this fender liner as well. Go ahead and drop that liner down and set that aside. With the front wheel removed, I'm going to go ahead and remove our plastic push buttons here. Now, in most cases from the factory, you're going to use a simple trim tool to remove the button itself and then pull out the base. We have a little bit different design on ours, but either way, you want to go ahead and remove these. And if you follow this right up inside this pocket, you're going to notice a bolt going up. It secures the bumper to the fender. You can use a Phillips head screwdriver in the center. Here it is right there. You can use your Phillips head or an 8mm socket to go ahead and remove that. Once you have your buttons and your screw removed, repeat for the passenger side. Now, with our hood open, you're going to find the buttons right here. There's 1, 2, 3 on the driver's side and 3 on the other side of the hood latch assembly. We're going to use our trim tool, pop up the center, and then pull out the base. Now on the driver's side here, right where the bumper meets the fender, we're going to go ahead and reach around and grab that, and we're going to pull it outward. And we're going to gently just pull this out. Once you have that separated, we're going to go ahead and repeat for the passenger side. Now the bumper is held into a retainer underneath the headlamp assembly. So with that edge pulled out, we're going to continue to work this out. I'm going to continue to do this on the passenger side as well, separating it from the clamp or the retainer clip underneath. Now what I'm going to do is grab inside the grill here and gently pull out. And we're going to slowly lower this down. If your vehicle has the lamps down in the lower portion of the bumper. Chances are they do. Now you can grab this here and twist it counterclockwise and remove the bulb from the backside, or right here on the top there's a little pinch tab. You can pinch that and pull that socket right off. Now you can do this from the top as well as from underneath. There's the connector right there. We're going to repeat that for the passenger side. Now that we have the connectors undone, we can go ahead and walk back and set that bumper into a safe place. Now on the driver's side here, I want to go ahead and remove this air deflector, 10mm socket with extension. Remove this. There's one on the bottom. We're going to reuse these screws, so put those aside. Then there's a plastic button retainer right behind our bumper beam here. We're going to use our trim tool. I'm going to go ahead and remove that button, and then we can go ahead pull this up and out. Now we're going to go ahead and repeat this exact process for the passenger side. On the upper air intake tube, we want to go ahead and remove the plastic button retainers. Going to use our trim tool and push in on the center. Pop that down inside, and then use your trim tool. Go ahead and pull that button out and do the same on the other. Once you have your buttons out, go ahead and pull that, and then just grab this and gently wiggle it and pull it up and out. Just set that aside. I'm going to use a 10mm socket, loosen and remove these two bolts. Now, just in front of the air filter box and just to the side of the radiator hose here, you're going to find the radiator clamp right here on the driver's side. I'm going to use a deep 10mm socket. Go ahead and remove that bolt. You should be able to grab that clamp and lift it up, and that should lift up the whole radiator. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same process on the passenger side. Now on the passenger side here, we have the AC lines going into our condenser. There are two 10mm nuts. We want to go ahead, loosen and remove these nuts. Now I want to go ahead and separate these here from the AC condenser. You might hear a little hiss. That's it. Now there's a rubber O-ring that seals these to the compressor or the AC condenser. Pull that up and out. I want to go ahead and separate our radiator cap unit with the hoses from the bracket here. So there's a 10mm bolt here, one on the other side. We're going to loosen and remove both of these. Go ahead and set those bolts aside. We will be reusing those later. That's going to allow us to go ahead and separate this unit. Now, in order to remove our AC condenser, we have to come around to the back side, and we need to release a little lock tab on the passenger side as well as the driver's side. Now, there's going to be a little part right here. This is where the upper portion of the AC condenser interlocks into our radiator. And then on the bottom, we have one too. And all it is a horizontal bracket that clips in to this little spring tabs here are retainers. So we need to lift up on the AC condenser so we can get these tabs out of these clips. So there's one here, two on the other side. And I'm going to come around to the passenger side here. And I'm going to use my flathead screwdriver and I'm going to gently push on this tab right here and then reach down in the front and lift up. And you can see that my AC condenser is lifting up and out. I'm going to go ahead and do this on the driver's side, and then we're going to go ahead and move our radiator and AC condenser and manipulate it so that we can go ahead and slide the condenser out. I'm going to go ahead and push our AC condenser and radiator in towards the motor. I'm going to reach around and hold the top of the fan assembly, and I'm going to grab our AC condenser, and with it released from the tabs, I'm going to go ahead and lift up. Now with the tabs released up top, the bottom should be undone as well. We're pretty close to it. We just need to manipulate this a little bit. And then once the bottom of the AC condenser is out, we should be able to work the rest of this. So what we're trying to do now is just get the AC condenser released completely from the upper tabs. The whole bottom is free floating at this point. Now separating the AC condenser from the two upper tabs is not an easy task. You do have to push down and push back and move that radiator around to get these out of the retainer tabs on the top. Now we have 3 of them out. We just have the passenger side here to work out. The next thing we have to do is get the junction point for the 2 hard lines to get past the radiator. Okay, go ahead and lower the AC condenser down and out. We're going to feed our AC condenser in behind our front bumper bracket, and we have to get this junction section pushed back through. There we go. And my little rubber protective cap popped off of here. I want to keep these ports as clean and clear as possible. Now I want to go ahead and push our AC condenser in and get the 4 tabs set back into the locking tabs on our radiator. Oh, we'll get that passenger side on. We'll get our driver's side on. We'll get our lowers installed. Now, you may have to push in on the condenser and the radiator together. Here we go. And you can see that our tab lines up. We're going to go ahead and do the same on the driver's side, and then we're going to push down on the condenser. So all 4 of these tabs, this one here and the one up top here, all consecutively lock down into the radiator. Now on the driver's side here, we have the large tube here, and that needs to get behind this tab. Now, I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver. You want to be super careful of this here, but there are 2 notches right here, and you can get the screwdriver in, gently pry outward to go ahead and get this cylinder to drop down inside. And there it is. Our condenser just locked in here. It's locked in up top. Our passenger side already dropped in earlier. So at this point here, our AC condenser is locked into place. Let's go ahead and get our lines on. So on the passenger side, with the AC lines disconnected, it's going to be easier to get our bolt in. So I put our bolt on the socket here, in the socket. I'm going to reach in there and get that started. Now before I snug this down, I'm going to go ahead and get the drawer side bolt started, and then we'll snug them both down together. Now that we have the drawer side installed, okay, go ahead and snug them both down. Now on both of your AC lines, there's going to be O-rings on here. You want to go ahead and inspect those and make sure that they're good. If they're torn or have any signs of damage to them, you want to go ahead and replace them now. We're going to remove the plugs on our AC condenser. Now I want to go ahead and remove the studs here from our old AC condenser. I'll swap them over to the new one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double nut these here. And normally what we can do is unthread the 2 of these together. So we'll get that removed. I could do the same on this stud here. Once you get that stud to move, normally you can back it right out with the 2 nuts, but we can go ahead and spin this out the rest of the way with our pliers. You want to be careful not to damage any of the threads. Okay, now that we have our studs removed, let's go ahead and swap these over into the new condenser. Go ahead and thread those in until they stop. Now I'm going to put a little bit of PAG oil on the O-ring. Slide that into place. And get a nut started on there. I'm going to go ahead and do the same on this one here. Now all I'm doing is I'm lubricating that O-ring a little bit with that PAG oil. And that PAG oil is for the AC system. I'm going to go ahead and get that nut started. Now I'm going to go ahead and snug those down. Now these just want to be snug. You don't have to over tighten these. So once that bottoms out, just give it a little bit more. Bottomed out, a little bit more. Let's now install our 2 bolts for our radiator hose and cap. Get these started by hand first. Once you get them started, I'm going to go ahead and snug them down. Now we're just holding plastic to plastic, so you don't have to make it super tight. It bottomed out, we're good. Do the same over here. That's all you need. Install the duct here for the air intake tube. Go ahead and snug that down. Once it's snug, it's good. That's snug. Let's now install our air intake tube. You want to take the oval end here and press it down into the tube down below. And then line up the upper portion here with the part we just attached. Install your plastic push pins. Now installing these push pins here, when we removed them, we had to push in the center. Now you're going to take the button and you're going to push the button up from the bottom, and it's going to cause the top here to push up. Insert this, and then push that center button down flush, and that locks it into place. Once again, push up on the bottom right here. It pushes the top up and out. And you're all set there. I'm going to take our driver's side air deflector here, and we need to insert this up underneath our bumper beam. Now on the bottom of this unit here, there's going to be a little post or button pointing down. That's going to line up in our lower cross member here. There's a hole right here, so I'm going to go ahead and get that lined up and pushed in. Once that lines up and sits in there, I'm going to line up the rest of this. I'm going to get my upper screw started here first. Get that one started. Then I'm going to get the lower screw started. Then I'm going to go ahead and snug those down. Just snug it gently. Then we have our plastic push pin here that goes up right behind a bumper beam, inserts into the hole, and then you just push in the center, lock that into place. We're going to repeat the same exact process for the passenger side. Now with your bumper in place, go ahead and grab that harness for your light, line that up, and push that on. If you had removed your lamp by turning it counterclockwise, go ahead and install that bulb, turn it clockwise to lock that into place. Repeat this process for the passenger side. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift up our bumper, and we're going to work it up and over onto the front here. You want to be careful of the edges. Make sure that the edges of the bumper don't come up and scratch your fender. Sometimes it's good to have 2 people doing this job here. Now when you're installing the top portion of the bumper, you want to make sure that the hood release handle is exposed, but yet the bumper cover goes over the 4 brackets here. Go ahead, line up the buttons here, press the base down, and then the top center. We're just going to do this for all 6. Now you want to go ahead and focus on the corner here as it wraps up around the light assembly. You're going to lift up your bumper, and you're going to get the bumper in right into where the component here should lock in. Push that in. This should interlock in with the base of the headlamp. And this should lock together here. Now our vehicle was in a collision before, has a little dent in the fender here, but this should line up and pop together. Now that we have our bumper locked into the headlamp retainer here, we can go ahead and get our bolt installed here, followed by our plastic buttons. Once we do that, you want to go ahead and repeat that process for the passenger side. We want to install our bolt up inside here. Secure that. I'm going to go ahead and install all of our push pins here, or buttons. Now once you have this all installed here, you want to repeat this process for the passenger side. Now once you're done there, you want to go ahead and install the lower splash shield. As you removed it, there's going to be a series of plastic buttons all the way around the perimeter. Once again, our splash shield is missing from our vehicle, so we can't show you that, but just install it the way that you removed it. Go ahead and grab your wheel. Go ahead and line that up. I want to go ahead and get all of our lug nuts started by hand first. Once we get them all started, we're going to come back and snug them all down. Just go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 85 foot-pounds. You preferably want to do this in a crisscross pattern. You're all set. Now that we've completed the installation of the AC condenser, you want to go ahead and bring the vehicle down to a shop and have the system professionally recharged.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.